All right, thank you guys. Obviously, we are recording in the car today. Actually, we haven't recorded in the vehicle in quite some time. We used to do that back in the day a lot, but getting some electrical work done in the house. So the house is pitch black right now. No power, really can't do much. So that is why I'm recording at an incredibly bad angle with the steering wheel in the way. There's no good way you can prop up your camera in a car. I get a steering wheel in the way or a turn signal, so it's just a complete mess. If I'm literally not in my living room set up perfectly, I get literally the worst shots available. But anyway, guys, just want to take time out and welcome you to our, what are we doing here, guys? This is our NBA video here today for Saturday, April 10th. Now, my name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And we're coming off a 500-day on my Patreon website, although we did improve to 4-1 in our last 5 board member tier package picks on that Patreon page. Now, we're also hitting at 65% in our last 20 extra daily pick tier package plays on that Patreon site as well. We currently have over 1,275 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally here today, a link for that Patreon page is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Raptors take on the Cavaliers here today, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Star Time. The Toronto Raptors are the 3-point favorite on the road here. Totals 218.5. And if you like Cleveland in an upset on their home court, they're plus $1.30 for some money line cash. And believe it or not, Cleveland's currently on a 2-game winning streak. Just 101 points per contest on average they allowed in those 2 victories. Now, the Cavaliers have rebounded quite well defensively at home. They're actually in the top 10 in home defensive rebounding. They've also played pretty good defense late in games. The Cavaliers are in the top 10 defensively in fourth quarter points allowed. Now, Colin Sexton, he's scoring 24 points a game for Cleveland, 2 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Darius Garland is scoring, what is he scoring? 16 points per contest himself, 2 rebounds, 5 assists for Garland. Now, the Cavaliers also rank in the top 10 in the NBA defensively and fewest first quarter points allowed at home. They're taking on a struggling Toronto team who lost their last 2 straight, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 10. I mean, we're looking at a Toronto team who really doesn't even have a home. Quite a shame. But anyway, the Raptors are a dismal 12 games below 500 this season, and they simply can't get the job done on the road. Out of their 27 road games, Toronto's gotten the W just 9 times. The Raptors also cover just 40% of their road games as well. Now, Harris, Van Fleet, Watson, and Lowry, they're all still out for Toronto. Rodney Hood's been listed as questionable. And when it comes to the total in this one, the Raptors saw 3 out of their last 5 stay under the number. Cleveland's 6-3 to the under in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 3 and the under 218. Next contest, it is going to be Lakers versus the Nets, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Brooklyn. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are minus 11, totals 222 flat. Now, the Nets should, kind of run away with this one fairly easily. But in all honesty, they've actually done a pretty poor job covering the number recently. They failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 3. And they also find themselves just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10. Now, James Harden's still out for the Nets. Landry Shamet is questionable. Despite being 20 games above 500, Brooklyn's covered just 13 out of 28 home games. Now, the Nets are also allowing nearly 115 points a night. They're taking on a Laker team who's, really dug deep and, found a way to cover without their stars. Now, Los Angeles successfully covered the point spread in their last 2 straight. They're also 3-1 against the number in their last 4. Now, when it comes to the injury report, you got to keep an eye on Caruso, Gasol, and Kuzma. They're actually all listed as questionable for tonight's action. So if you are looking to fire on this game, definitely keep an eye on those guys. However, Dennis Schroeder, he's still averaging over 15 points a night along with 3 rebounds and 5 assists. Meanwhile, Montrezl Harrell, he's also grabbing over 6 rebounds a game along with 14 points per contest. And, with a fairly depleted squad here, the Lakers are allowing just 101 points per contest in their last 8 ball games. Now, total-wise, LA's gone 70% to the under in their last 10 ball games. Brooklyn's 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Lakers plus 11 and the under 222. Next contest, it is going to be Sixers versus the Thunder, 9 o'clock Eastern start. The Philadelphia 76ers are minus 11, numbers 217 even. Now, Philadelphia may have to go to work here without Joel Embiid this evening. He's been ruled as questionable with some knee soreness. Having said that, though, I really don't think it'll matter that much against this putrid OKC team. Tobias Harris is scoring over 20 points a game for Philadelphia. 7 rebounds, 3 assists for the starting forward. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons is getting 15 a game himself, along with 7 rebounds and 7 assists. The Sixers are currently 18 games above 500 right now, and they really do a lot of things well on both ends of the court. Now, the Sixers are in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 defensively in road points allowed. They're taking on an OKC squad who's truly committed to giving up on the season. They've lost their last 5 straight, just 1-8 straight up in their last 9. And despite catching double digits in almost every game recently, they still failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 9. Now, Muscala, Baisley, Roby, Hall, Dort, and Gilgeous-Alexander, they're all sitting this one out here for OKC. Just not giving their teammates a fighting chance here tonight. OKC, they've also been victorious in only 9 of 27 home games. OKC's allowing they're allowing a lot of points. OKC's allowing 117 points per contest at the Chesapeake. And when it comes to the total in this one, OKC's been playing such poor defense that many of their games recently are getting over the number. They're 3-0 to the over in their last 3, 6-3 to the over in their last 9. The Thunder also finds themselves 17-10 to the over as the official home team. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Philadelphia 76ers minus 11 and the over 217. All right, next ball game. It is going to be, what are we doing here, guys? Kings versus the Jazz, 9 p.m. East. The Utah Jazz are minus 12.5, totals 231. And despite the possible absence of bench player Jordan Clarkson, Utah's got incredible depth, and they really shouldn't skip a beat here. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 ball games, 26 games above 500 for the entire season. Now, Utah's also been just absolutely unbeatable at home. They're 23-2 straight up in Salt Lake City. Donovan Mitchell is scoring 26 points per contest, 4.5 boards, 5 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Mike Conley's dropping over 16 a night himself, 3 rebounds, 5 assists for Conley. Now the Jazz lead the NBA in offensive rebounding. They also lead the association defensively in points allowed at home. They give up just 102 points a game at the Vivint Smart Home Arena. And they also hold their opponents to just 31% shooting from beyond the arc on their home court as well. Now, Utah's taking on a Sacramento team who's just playing awful right now. They lost their last 5 straight, and they also failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 7. Now, the Kings have also been pretty bad on the road. They've won just 10 of 25 when traveling, and they give up 118 points per contest in those road games. Now, total-wise, Sacramento's last 2 straight stayed under the line, 70% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, 2 out of Utah's last 3 stayed under the total themselves, 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Utah Jazz minus 12.5 and the under 231. Next contest, Rockets versus the Warriors, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Now, the Golden State Warriors are minus 9, totals 227. Despite a tough loss last night to the Washington Wizards, we're still looking at a Golden State team who wins 60% of their ball games at the Chase Center. Now, the Warriors score nearly 116 points a game as the official home team. And they're also in the top 10 in shooting the three ball at home as well. Steph Curry's dropping nearly 30 a game for Golden State, 5.5 rebounds and 6 assists for the NBA champ. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is scoring over 17 points a game himself, along with 4 rebounds and a couple assists. And in addition to Golden State's ability to score at home, they actually play some pretty good defense at the Chase Center in certain areas as well. They're in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage, top 10 in defending the three ball at home as well. Now they're taking on a Rockets team who's 24 games below 500, and they lost 8 out of their last 10. Now Gordon and House are still out. John Wall is questionable. The Rockets have won just 7 of 26 road games, and they rank in the bottom 3 in shooting the three ball. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Houston's last 4 did get over the posted total. 5 out of their last 8 stayed under the line. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, 4 out of Golden State's last 7 got over the total themselves, throwing out the Washington game last night. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean toward the Golden State Warriors -9 in the over 227. All right, next contest, we're going to take a look at the Wizards versus the Suns, 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, Phoenix is -12, totals 228. The Suns have won 7 out of their last 8 ball games, 36-15 overall for the season. Phoenix has won a bunch of games on their home court this year. They're 19-8 straight up as the official home team, 67% against the number in those home contests. Now, the Suns have been really good on the defensive end of the court this year. They're in the top 5 defensively in fewest points allowed at home. They're also in the top 5 in defending the three ball at home as well. Now, Devin Booker is scoring 26 points a game for Phoenix, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is scoring over 16 a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the multi-time All-Star. Phoenix is taking on a Washington squad who may just have to go to work here tonight without their best player. Of course, I'm talking about Bradley Beal. He's currently battling a back injury right now, so listed as questionable. Might not see him in action here tonight. And I'll tell you this much, despite a gutsy win over Golden State yesterday evening, we're still looking at a Wizard team who doesn't win many games on the road. Now, out of their 25 games away from home this season, they've gotten the W in just 9 of them. They also give up a ton of points defensively. They're in the bottom 3 defensively in points allowed. They're also in the bottom 10 in defending the three ball. Now, total-wise, Washington saw 7 out of their last 9 stay under the number. They're also 16-9 to the under on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -12 in the under 228. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final contest for the show. I'm talking about the Pistons versus the Blazers, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Portland Trailblazers are the 11.5-point favorite. Totals 225, juice to the over. Now, Portland's going through a bit of a skid here recently. 0-2 in their last couple of ball games, 1-3 straight up in their last 4. The Blazers have also been pretty bad covering the point spread at home. They got the job done against the spread in just 10 of 25 home games. Now, the Blazers give up a lot of points. They're one of the worst teams defensively in the entire NBA. Portland's actually in the bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, Portland allows 115 points a night at the Moda Center. They're taking on a Detroit squad who's actually won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. They're also 4-3 straight up in their last 7. The Pistons have a winning record against the spread on the road this season. They are 17-11 against the spread in their 28 road games. Now, they've also played pretty good second-half defense all season long. They're in the top 10 defensively in third-quarter points allowed, top 10 in fourth-quarter points allowed as well. And despite the absence of their best player here this evening, Jeremy Grant, they've been able to win without him in the lineup before. Now, Josh Jackson's averaging over a dozen a night. We're also looking at 4 rebounds and 2 assists for the 6'8 guard. Meanwhile, Hammy Diallo, he's averaging over a dozen a game himself. 5 rebounds, couple assists for Diallo. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Detroit's last 4 did get over the number. They are officially 70% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Portland Trailblazers, on the other side of things, they saw 5 out of their last 8 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Detroit Pistons plus 11.5 in the over 225. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Cleveland plus 3, under 218.5. Lakers plus 11, under 222. Philadelphia minus 11, over 217. Utah Jazz minus 12.5, under 231. Golden State minus 9, over 227. Phoenix Suns minus 12, under 228. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 4-1 in our last 5 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also hitting at 65% in our last 20 extra daily pick tier package plays on my Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the Detroit Pistons plus 11.5 in the over 225. With that, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Slumlord, Weps World from Macau, Daniel Kaprowski, Marquise Foster, Saw Sensei Master Drip Lord. Shout out to Tom Beasy, John Rodriguez, Gucci Swap 46. Shout out to Chosen One, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Michael Kahn. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we're going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you get a package here today on Patreon, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of April. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free scenery. The high angle up looking at the bottom of my neck as the spit is flying out of my mouth and the dust is flying. Just horrible. You know, how can I not find one spot in this car where I can face the damn camera? I tell you, it's just... And while I was recording this whole thing, there was literally a random car parked behind me with a lady walking a dog having a full conversation. So even if I did find a spot to put the camera, I'd be having these people in the back. They'd probably think I'm filming them. I'll tell you, man, you throw one little thing out of the norm and the whole system breaks. It's like a house of cards. I need to be back in my studio in front of my big screen giving you the good news. But anyway, guys, that's a fake rant, by the way. That is 100% fake rant. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.